Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Legion of Memers Memestream Saturday edition. Thank you all for being here today. Let's just get started off with intros, because from what I hear, YouTube doesn't like long intros. So let's get started with Devil Made Me Do It, man. How you doing today?
Recovering. Devil Made Me Do It. Happy to be here.
Sweet, man. Where can they find you?
At Beelzehub and now like 3 on the Twitters.
Sweet, man. Sweet. And we got Darmy Wormy hopping in this week. How you doing, mate?
I'm back. I'm having fun. I had a great time on Ballbusters last night and doing all my stuff. Channel's growing. I've been hurting some Stan feelings. I'm just going to say that, Doctor Who's been treating nice to me and pissing off a few people. So, yay. I like life.
You're Rachel Zegler's reply guy now.
There's that too, not just Rachel Zegler, but I've had a few hate comments thrown my way this week.
Oh no.
Just a few, I like my
and you're reveling in it.
Yes, I
am. We also got CJP. How you doing, man? What's going on?
Good. I know today's we're celebrating TruePop's birthday. Yesterday was mine, so like almost meaner cousins when it comes to birthdays.
Wow.
Babies rule, man.
Happy birthday to...
Shut it
down. Last time that happened, everybody left.
No, it's been going good. I've got this week on my show, I've got Melee Games is going to come on. We're going to talk some Nintendo music, and then I've got my full album release the next week after that. On the 28th, I'll be doing my second synthwave album. I'll be doing a full premiere for that. And other than that, I'm like inching ever closer to monetization, and should hopefully get there by the end of the year, if not first of the month or first of the year.
Nice, man. You just keep on working at it, and keep up putting out the good work, man. I think that's what really matters at the end of the day. It's the work you do. Everything else will come.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to do that. TruePop Culture, happy birthday, my man. Thanks for joining us today. What's going on, man?
Thank you all for the birthday wishes. Everyone has been really nice. I just posted about that and it just blew up. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, I'm glad to see people make wishes. But I'm excited for the show. It's always a good show with Matt on. He's a wealth of knowledge on all things movies. That just fascinates me. And speaking of movies, I watched Godzilla -1 in cinemas. Finally, it came out in the UK. Dropped a review on it. So
should have had Mothra in it.
Mothra's the lamest, dude. How dare you?
Kenzo, man, what you've been busy this week, haven't you?
So I've been busy. I've been doing a little bit of animating. I am always happy to be back on the Legion of Memestream on Saturday, where the stream can end at any moment. Where we have the best producer on YouTube, Extra Zero.
Careful, last time I said he ended the stream.
I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of seeing AI-generated images of Taylor Swift being piped by various Muppets and other fictional characters.
Yeah.
But
hey, Az is not a fictional character. Thank you very much.
Hey, fuck you and fuck him. But yeah, great to be here, man.
I mean, Kenzo's been pretty busy. You've been doing remember her emojis as well. From what
Remember
I hear,
her emojis. I've got a little secret project going on that is a animation for the Full Aussies end of year stream. So keep your eye out for that, you dogs.
That's gonna be a banger. Make sure to go check that out, everybody. They're always great, especially when he uses the crew from the Full Aussie, because he abuses them in the.
This one's very special. This one's very
Am I
special.
finally in it?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
And on that note, Extra Zero, man, what's been going on this week?
Oh, it's been a week. I want to formally apologize to everybody for last week. I was so excited to get out of here for Godzilla -1 that my muscle memory kicked in, and instead of hitting the X to leave, I hit end stream. So movie was worth it. My wife and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was not expecting it to. I mean, I was expecting to be entertained, I was not expecting it to be the best movie I saw all year, and I saw some good movies this year. Sisu was up there for me. Of course, we had the Mario movie. We had a bunch of good stuff actually come out this year. Equalizer 3, though I didn't see that in theaters, but this was top tier. Also, years ending at work. I'm hoping that things calm down. I have to get through this week. Then I'm off for the rest of the year. I've got a new PC coming. Thanks to my senior manager, I got recognized for a couple things at work, and they sent me a $1,000 redemption. So I'm like, okay, new rig time, and that should be here tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be able to utilize that to do some initial editing and up my meme game a little bit. I'm excited about that, but I'm really excited to talk about Matt, because I did listen into that episode with all of the producers. I was running errands and I was in the gym when I got the invite for that, and I was like,
I literally pulled over to the side of the road, gave Extra a call, and he's like, "Yo, I can't talk right now." I'm like, "I don't care, get on."
So yeah, I mean, but there was a lot of good stuff. I think X-Ray Girl had a ton of good insight in that, so I'm looking forward to going through and talking about that and some other stuff with YouTube as well. So here for the conversation, ready for it.
God, I need a new producer. Mine keeps leaving.
For those who don't know, we have Matt Kadish on from the Salty Nerd podcast. Do you want to let the people know where they can find you, and what is it that the Salty Nerd podcast covers and talks about?
Well, you can, excuse me, you can check us out on YouTube. Just go to saltynerdvideo.com, takes you right to our YouTube channel, or you can just search for the Salty Nerd podcast on YouTube. And basically, we're a movie, TV, pop culture podcast that likes to make fun of movies and TV and pop culture and stuff like that. And so we're actually going to be moving towards more live streaming in 2024 and all that good stuff. But I want to thank you guys for having me back on the show. I feel very privileged that you actually included me in your opening trailer. TruePop, that subway thing that you did, we play that as a trailer to our live streams all the time. Thank you so much for doing that. It's a big hit. And CJP, how's it feel to share a birthday with the premiere of The Last Jedi?
Oh God, that's low blow.
And just everything.
I am so glad. See, I was an early baby, so I could have been born a little earlier even as well. So that was close. Damn.
Did somebody hear that? Hello, silence, mild.
I also share a birthday with Nick Ricada and Jack Posovic. So
somebody needs to clip that and throw the emotional damage meme in there.
Emotion.
Yeah, wait, you'll get copyright struck on it. Apparently, he's been copyright struck.
Well, don't put it on YouTube. Put it on Twitter. What are they gonna do?
Emotional damage.
And
I'm not sure if that was just racist or retarded.
Mixture.
Could be a little
bit
both.
probably. And I Am Superman, if he wasn't scared of green, it was so bad that Matt had to turn off his camera. Congratulations, guys. I Am Superman, if he wasn't scared of green rocks, leader, creator, and founder of the Legion of Memers. But let's give a huge shout out to Chat, who came in pretty early today. And of course, as always, Skirmitar was the first chatter. Apparently, before the show starts, we are still late.
Technically, Triss was the first one today.
Okay. Well,
Triss is always best. Triss is always best. Just always remember that. Triss is best.
He's a number one. Best meme.
Okay. Yeah. Hail, Triss. You've been doing some great meme work. Keep it up. Go ahead, Extra. I'm
all right. I'll read them off. So first, we got Keely Chow coming in with a "Hey, everybody, good to see you, Keely." And I'm curious about the follow up with "Oh my God, the cock." We got our boy D-Day McLean. He's been doing some fantastic
work.
Recognition out the wazoo from Garrett, from Gary, from I believe he also got a shout out from Dave Landau, or he had a good reaction from Dave Landau. He's been covering Normal World, so keep up.
Not only that, his skills are improving, and that is what we all should be doing: improving the skills with each thing we make.
He showed me a video meme he's working on, and it's some really good stuff. I mean, for somebody that's just learning the basics, I was very impressed. I can't wait for him to show that off. We got this dude saying, "Chat, you're all legends." Who's this Kenzo UK guy?
Fuck that guy.
we'll go down here. We got Dino Rama saying, "Where's the opening? This is the worst serial ever."
Sounds about right. I mean,
Mhm.
we're highly professional.
It was a good cliffhanger last week.
Yeah, right.
Hail
Hail
memers.
Yeah, with a question mark. We got D-Day wishing you a happy birthday, TruePop. That goes back to like my Tupac culture stuff.
Sure.
We got this guy too. I don't know who he is, but he's saying hail all in the chat. Then we got scroll down a little bit here. I think actually that catches us up.
Is that how you spell
Oh,
hail
awesome.
in French?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did I really do that?
We got Brahma hopping in the chat saying, "Howdy, y'all.
yeah.
Hail, my dude.
Good to see you.
Good to see you in chat, mate."
And we've got Rabnad Scabla saying hi.
Hi.
You managed to read that extra. Like Moza can't read at all, so hold on, I'd struggle.
You know,
That's impossible.
every time I need a pick me up this week, every time I've felt down in the dumps, I've replayed that video of Mazza reading my one super chat. He didn't know what a comma was, and he also couldn't pronounce Pope. And there's been a good debate whether or not that was an act. I subscribe to the belief that he doesn't know what the Pope is.
Or if he
He
shits
read it as
bullets.
Oh,
Pape? And Lethal's trying to keep it together. That was the greatest thing about it, is Lethal head in his hands. Good
Yeah,
enough.
He don't understand punctuation very well. He calls them like line, dot, line, squiggle.
as a Polish Catholic, this hurts my very soul. This
How do you
No,
think
he
you
can't be
feel as a
serious.
retarded Catholic?
His name was supposed to be True Pope Culture, but he spelled it wrong.
Hey,
So
let's
I
make
know we.
me just as a pope, just casually. I'd make a better pope than Pope Francis. Jeez, screw that guy.
Absolutely, you would.
let's
I
also
would make a better pope than Pope Francis.
I don't like it.
Name 10 popes.
Son of someone with a disability is retarded.
Listen, we only have Matt for about an hour, so Matt,
Right,
I
right.
wanted to ask you about the stream that you made. Extra Zero, can you throw the link in the chat for that? Because I
Yeah,
want
absolutely.
everybody to go see it, because the information on there is so valuable if you implement it. Matt, what brought you to make that stream?
So, my good friend Mike, Mexican Iron Man, he's a big fan of the shows that I do, and he's always dropping super chats on there. And one time, jokingly, he dropped a super chat, and he's like, "I think Mr. Kadish should produce a live stream that has nothing but other YouTube producers as guests to bitch about or have a support group for how hard producing live streams is on YouTube." And it just so happened that last Tuesday, the three other co-hosts that I work with just weren't available for various reasons to do live stream. And I was like, well, instead of just canceling the show and not doing anything, I thought that it might be fun to try to make that super chat a reality. And so I reached out to some of the YouTube producers I knew, and I was like, hey, are you guys available to do this with me? And it took so much more work than I was expecting to try to get all these people to show up for a live stream. But it is a weird time zone. It's like Tuesday at 2:00 Pacific time. So, people are spread out across the country and various different schedules and stuff like that. But luckily, everyone who said they would show up, except for one person, actually did. So it was good.
So, what do you think the biggest takeaway from the stream should be to people who are watching?
Well, I mean, like it's hard to say like what a good takeaway was because we covered so much stuff. But I think the big thing is that if you want to do live streaming, it's best to start doing it, but do it with the mindset of trying to do it like a professional show. It's kind of interesting because a lot of my co-hosts, they give me crap for being very organized and regimented and having rules and like laying down okay, this is what the live stream is about. This is how we have
That
to do
sounds like
things.
soups.
Yeah. And
Thank you for the compliment, TruePop. Appreciate you.
Well, then my co-hosts go on other people's live streams and they're like, it's just chaos. Like, I'm so glad that we have you here to, organize things for us. And so like, I think that there's a level of professionalism that people appreciate when they guest on a live stream or they're doing a live stream where like a producer can kind of step in and organize it in such a way where like it's like a real show and people can acknowledge and appreciate that, not just behind the scenes, but also I think that people watching the stream, the audience experience is better because I try to keep crosstalk like down to as bare minimum as possible on our live streams, so that everyone gets a chance to be like heard, and the audience really seems to appreciate that. And so like that's just one of those things where like the more organized you are and the better of a producer you are, the better everyone's experience is, both behind the scenes and watching the live stream.
I did drop that super chat saying, talking about Extra Zero. Before we had Extra Zero, our show was super disorganized. He spent hours on Excel sheets and just getting everything going and flowing. And without him, the show would not be as well organized as it is.
Before Extra Zero, our show ended on time and not early. It was very.
So I feel like my tenure in the show that will never get forgotten. I do want to chime in and say I felt good listening to because I don't think X-Ray Girl really talks about that sort of stuff on other things that she's on. So it was refreshing to hear her talking about how she books guests and what she does behind the scenes. And I've talked to Mark on several occasions, but I've never had the opportunity to talk to her directly. And it made me feel good that someone that I respect as a producer who handles FNT and does it very well. A lot of the things that she says she does are things that I'm already doing. So it was very affirming that other than making a mistake vending a show, I'm kind of on the right track. But there were things that she said that I picked up on that I want to try and implement in 2024. But for the most part, it was good to hear that some of the things that I'm practicing are what she's been doing without having conversed with her about it and getting that advice. So it was good because a lot of people, smaller creators, don't have the opportunity to talk to these people and get the advice. So it was great to have that all out there and available. The questions that I would have asked anyway. Thank you, Savage Dad. Were laid out, and I can't state how valuable that was.
Well, I'm glad it's kind of funny. We've gotten a lot of requests after that live stream. It's like, can you do another one? Can you do more of these? Can you make this a regular thing? And I'm like, I'd be happy to, but the amount of work it took just to get those people to show up on time, and people had to leave early and all this other stuff. I was like, it took way more work to do that throwaway live stream. And in my opinion, it was a throwaway live stream because it's not part of our regular content than it is to do like, our regular stuff. But, like everyone who was a part of the panel seemed happy to do more. So, if there's interest out there for it, then we'll probably do more of those in the future.
I think there is a lot of interest out there. I've had this conversation with you, but I think that in our community, a lot of people just tell you to do it, but they don't tell you kind of how to get started or what you should do to like the bare minimum, and then let you kind of fly on your own. That's what basically the Legion does. If somebody wants to learn, we show them the basics, the tools, and then they can go with their imagination and have fun. Are you thinking about doing this for other areas of YouTube or YouTube kind of content in the future?
I mean, I can. It's a little bit more difficult when you start getting into some of like the deeper YouTube tactics. Like, if you want to talk about the algorithm, it's not like you can get YouTube engineers to come on your show and spill the secrets, but like, you can create a live stream and talk about like, okay, YouTube has a separate algorithm for every single traffic source. If you want to get your live stream pushed, here's how you appeal to the live stream algorithm. If you want to get a published video pushed, here's how you get into the recommended feed, or here's how you get into browse features, or like, there's multiple layers to different aspects of YouTube. And some people make a very good living doing advice channels. It's like, like here's how to get the algorithm in 2024, or like whatever the case may be. But we, in my sphere, in the sphere of like YouTube producers that I run in, we always try to get to understand YouTube as much as possible because it's what we're basing our businesses on. And so there is a large kind of like amount of ignorance about how YouTube operates. And I came to that realization one day. I was like, if I'm betting my livelihood and my friends' livelihoods and stuff like that on the YouTube platform, but I don't really know how it works. Like, can anyone here actually honestly say they know how YouTube works? They know how
hell no.
Anybody that says so is lying. I mean, in all honesty, the rules change up. It depends on your content, how much content you put out, and
even at the most basic level of like machine learning and AI, like YouTube is run by an AI called Google Brain, and this is the thing that collates not only all the algorithms that's analyzing all the different forms of content out there, but it's also organizing all the various viewer profiles for everyone who watches YouTube. And it keeps trying to figure out, okay, how do I match this person up with this type of content? And so if you really have a deep understanding of how YouTube operates, it helps you to plan your content better. It helps you to reach the right audience more efficiently. And a lot of people just think it's about throwing up a video and then seeing what sticks and then doing more of those types of videos, which to a certain extent that is the case. But for the most part, like if you are a producer of any type on YouTube, whether it's a content creator or someone who runs live streams or whatever the case may be, if you don't understand the fundamentals of what makes YouTube work and what YouTube's goals are, it makes it a lot harder to grow and find an audience and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there is a big problem because the question for a lot of people is like, how do you know when the content is just not good or YouTube is banning or is YouTube is kind of shadow banning you? And I think a lot of people have fallen into the trap of, I didn't put up a good video, so YouTube is shadow banning me.
Well, so there's a difference between putting out a video that can't find an audience and YouTube shadow banning, because YouTube does have algorithms for controversial content. So every time you post a video, it goes through like 7 or 8 different algorithms. And if they find stuff in there that's not conducive to like the messaging or the branding or like whatever the case might be, then they'll kind of limit the distribution of your video. And that is, a form of shadow banning. I mean, people can go find it. The throttling, exactly. But what usually happens is that people put out a video and they're not keeping in mind like who their audience is or what their niche is or whatever. They're just putting out a video because they're like, oh, I made this video. I'm proud of this video. I like this video. And they put it out. And what YouTube will do is they'll push it out to a certain kind of like a test audience in a sense. And if that audience doesn't respond to the video, they'll just kind of like stop pushing it. But if they do respond, then they'll push it out to another audience segment. And if they respond, they'll keep pushing it out and pushing it out and pushing it out as long as people are responding to it. And that's how you get stuff where it's like you have a channel with 1,000 subscribers, but they have a video that blows up to 1 million views or something like that. So it really just depends on like how well you are able to optimize your video for audience engagement. Like a lot of people think that click-through rate or something along those lines is important on YouTube, and it is to a certain extent, but the biggest metric that YouTube looks at is watch time. So if you have videos that, like, let's say you put out a 15-minute video, if people are watching all 15 minutes of that, that's a far bigger sign to YouTube of satisfaction than hitting the thumbs up button, right? So if a vast majority of people who are exposed to that video are watching the entire video, then YouTube's like, this is a quality video, we're going to push it out to more people. But if people click on the video and watch like the first 5 seconds and then click off, and so like you have like an average view duration of maybe like 5-10 seconds, then YouTube's going to be like, okay, this is clickbait, or this is a low quality video, we're going to stop pushing that out. And so a big part of success on YouTube is really understanding the metrics that YouTube cares about. It's about understanding the goals that YouTube has, because the biggest goal is YouTube wants to keep people on the platform as long as possible to serve them as many ads as possible. So when they find videos that keep people engaged and viewing on the platform, they tend to push those out more than the ones that, drop off really quickly. And then there's the audience experience too. It's like if you're making stuff for an audience that doesn't exist on YouTube, then, you're basically just doing it as a hobby. But if you're making videos that resonate with a very specific audience on YouTube, and that audience is consuming those videos and enjoying them, then like YouTube's going to reward you because they want those people to stay on the platform as long as possible. And that's one of the reasons live streams are very popular on YouTube, is because when people tune in for a live stream, they'll watch for like 30 minutes or an hour or even for like 2 hours for the whole thing. So that's why YouTube pushes live streams like they do, is because they keep people on the platform, but they also keep them engaged in the chat. And then, there's the monetary aspect. YouTube takes 30% of all the super chats and stuff like that. So there's a lot of benefits to pushing live streams as opposed to like published videos, which are just AdSense based essentially. So you have a bunch of different factors where it's not like, oh, YouTube hates my video, so it's not going to push it out. Is my video aligned with what YouTube wants to push out, and is there an audience for it? And so it's a little bit of a different way of thinking, because as creators, like, we're just focused on what we want to create and get it out there. But I'd say the same thing to when I worked in Hollywood. It's like, okay, we're making movies not for us, we're making movies for our fans or the fans of the genre or whatever the case may be. And the same thing's true of YouTube. Like, if you're making videos on YouTube, you have to be making videos for somebody out there, preferably. And the more somebodies who who are in that group, the better your chances are of getting tons and tons of views. So don't look at YouTube as the enemy. Look at them as a partner that you just haven't quite figured out how to partner up with yet.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Question, for the YouTube stuff, can a lot of it be taken over to Rumble and use the same kind of thought processes for that, or is it a completely different way of doing things for Rumble?
So the biggest difference between Rumble and YouTube is the ecosystem, right? Like, YouTube has a wide reach. It has a huge audience that's kind of built into the platform. And whenever you move to a different platform, you have to do the stuff that tends to work on that platform. So, like if you had asked, instead of Rumble, like Instagram, right? Like, two very different ecosystems between YouTube and Instagram. And if you want to succeed on Instagram, you got to do what works on Instagram, which isn't necessarily the same thing that works on YouTube. When it comes to Rumble, I've had a lot of problems with Rumble in the sense that, number one, they're a very cliquish company. It's like, if you had built an audience elsewhere and you're like Steven Crowder or something like that, who had like millions of subscribers on YouTube, and he was having problems on YouTube, Rumble's like, hey man, come on over, like, we'll blow you up. You can do whatever you want over here. But if you're like a small creator who hasn't built that audience yet, you can't go over to Rumble and build an audience there, because what happens is the big guys like Steven Crowder and Dan Bongino and all these guys, they have audiences elsewhere that they pull into the Rumble ecosphere, and they tend to go there specifically for those shows, as opposed to being on Rumble and searching through and finding new creators on Rumble. And a lot of what's on Rumble is already on YouTube, and so there's no drive for people on YouTube to move over to Rumble if they're watching the same content, right? So it's just the Rumble exclusives that they might go over there for, like Russell Brand or Crowder, or like what have you. And if you're not of that political affiliation, then you're probably just like, screw it, I don't want to be in Rumble anyway. But another big issue I've had with Rumble, and if you go back through our live stream things, we actually did a live stream about Rumble with Stuttering Craig of the Side Scrollers podcast, and he has some actual connections to people at Rumble, and we basically talked about everything that's wrong with Rumble. And the biggest thing that's wrong with Rumble is that they fudge their viewership numbers, right? Like, they have three different metrics for viewership. And one of those metrics, which they call views, is actually impressions. So it wouldn't actually be people watching your video. It'd be people who were exposed to the thumbnail of the video. They wouldn't have necessarily watched it. And that's what they're counting as a view. But then they have another thing that's like real views, which is people who actually clicked on the video and started watching it. And then they have a third one, which is like monetized views, which are the views that would actually get you paid on the platform. And those things just keep going down, down, down as you go down the list. And I think the biggest issue with Rumble is that technologically, it's not a good user experience. And so the people who are over there are hardcore, like, yeah, we want alternative media, we want Rumble, but it's like minuscule compared to the audience you can get on YouTube. And the thing about YouTube's, from a technological perspective, is that the algorithm is designed to give people who are on YouTube more of what they like to watch and help them discover new stuff to watch. Whereas on Rumble, they are so far behind technically, like they just don't know how to serve people content, right? And I think that if they actually like were a little bit more open and had like was a little bit more friendly to creators who aren't like huge already and help them to grow, that would be one thing. But I just don't think the audience is there in order for them to do that. So they keep trying to like fake it till they make it. And at least in my opinion, I could be completely wrong about this, but I feel like if you're going to invest time and money into building a personal brand or building a channel or like creating content, it's actually much more beneficial to focus on YouTube, where you can grow organically and then maybe at some point jump off to an alternate platform once you have an audience that you can actually bring with you, as opposed to trying to grind your ass off on a platform that just doesn't have the audience to actually like help you earn money or build a viewership or get rewarded for all the time and effort you put into creating content. And we tried simul streaming to Rumble for basically this entire year. And just looking at the statistics there, it's like it's not even worth the trouble of having to, go in and set up a streaming key every time we want to stream over there, because the audience just isn't there.
We're streaming on Rumble right now. I think we have 2 people watching. One's probably me, and one's probably Extra Zero.
More than likely.
Rumble does not help with discoverability. It does not help you build a secondary parallel audience. And unless you're already a big person, like if you have like a radio show or you're on TV or you had millions of subscribers on YouTube and you moved over, then it might be worth it. But you're just taking people off of YouTube and moving them over there, as opposed to actually like finding new viewers over there and building up an even bigger audience. So to me, I don't feel like Rumble is worth the effort, at least not right now.
So Jeremy, you wanted to ask a question.
I was gonna say, like, you have Nick Ricada and people like that continue to grow, but like you hit it on the head, Matt. It's because they're handpicked essentially. They're handpicked, so they're getting pushed by everybody. And then you have little old me or Legion or anybody like that who goes over there. Yeah, you can end up getting some of your viewers to go over there. I have several viewers that just want to watch on Rumble, but that's few and far between from the viewers that I'm getting on YouTube that will cycle through and everything.
And the big thing is that on YouTube, 60% of YouTube views come from mobile, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the mobile app for Rumble is not good.
Rumble's mobile app is garbage. It's complete garbage. And also, like, I think 12% of YouTube views come from the TV app. People watch YouTube on their TV.
Yeah.
You ever tried watching Rumble on the TV? It is not a good experience.
No, it crashes every time. I have to cast it on, and then it just bugs out.
Even worse than the phone.
Yeah, so
even there, hating on you. Take this as advice for trying to make things better.
Yeah, even there, like if you just look at like the fact that Rumble is a desktop only platform, like that limits the type of audience you can get just right off the bat. Younger audiences tend to watch everything on their cell phones, right? So you're missing out on younger viewers. Older viewers, don't even use their computer. Like they probably don't know how to do like a smart TV app, but if they do, they'll be watching it on TV. So, like to answer your question, No Rocks, basically, I feel like Rumble is a bad place to put your time and efforts into until you succeeded on YouTube.
How would you feel about Kick and other Twitch alternatives? It's much more live streaming focused, I suppose, but
those are other beasts altogether.
Well, so it goes back to the ecosphere, right? Like Twitch has its own ecosphere, Kick has its own ecosphere. And if you want to succeed on the platform, you have to really focus in on what's working on that platform and do that. Like with
Twitch bots.
Well, yeah, I mean, like if you want to do a hot tub stream, you can't really pull that off on YouTube, but you can pull it off on like these other places. But if you want to do a podcast, YouTube is the biggest podcast distributor on the planet. But if you try to do that podcast on Twitch, it's just, unless it's a gaming-centered podcast, it's going to be hard to find an audience there. So if you want to succeed on a very specific platform, you have to focus on that platform first and foremost, figure out what the audience on that platform responds to, and then start doing things to grow on that specific platform. Like even between Twitch and Kick, and Kick's just like a ripoff of Twitch, right? But there is a different audience there, and there's different strategies to grow on Kick than that probably wouldn't work on Twitch, right? Mm-hmm. So it just comes down to like where your focus lies. And to me, if you're a small creator and you want the biggest audience possible and the greatest chance of being discovered, I feel like YouTube is where it's at. Twitch might be a close second, but only if you're like a gamer. Because if you try to do IRL on Twitch and you're not a hot girl who's willing to show some skin, it's going to be very hard to grow on there. So,
what if you're a hot guy willing to show skin?
Well, I mean,
Where, dummy? Where?
Yeah.
So-
What?
So Matt, do you think that when Twitter finally does like they're probably working on like a YouTube kind of thing, do you think that might be a better platform than the platforms that are out there right now? I mean, YouTube's a whole different beat. YouTube's a monolith. Nothing's going to be better when it first comes out. But do you see any potential in Twitter for that kind of content?
So when it comes down to YouTube competitors, the X factor is always monetization. It's can creators get rewarded for publishing their content there, whether it be through money, which is basically the thing that keeps creators making stuff for YouTube because they're actually earning a living, creating the content, or like audience growth to the point where you could potentially, start doing brand deals off on the side. The issue with Twix, as I like to call it, Twitter X, whatever it is that the audience for long form video viewing is not there. People go on Twitter for bite-sized information dumps.
Mm-hmm.
And so the video that works on Twitter is stuff that's like 2 minutes or shorter, right? Like people watch a 2-minute clip of something on Twitter, but they won't sit there and they won't watch like a 50-60 minute show, because the thing on Twitter is it's timeline based, right? So like you want to be scrolling, you want to see like what other stuff is in your feed, as opposed to just sitting on there and watching a video. It's not like TikTok, right? It's not like YouTube or YouTube Shorts. It's basically you're reading text messages from people you don't know and watching short clips of stuff to form an opinion before you move on to the next thing. And that's kind of like that's a short form content deal. So like if you want to succeed on Twitter, you have to focus on videos that are 2 minutes or less that have subtitles on them. Like who watches live streams on Twitter? This is one of the reasons why Periscope got shut down, right? Because nobody freaking watches those things on Twitter, but they watch them on YouTube. So
I think you can do stuff on Twitter, and you're right. Right now, it's not made for it because you had the whole. I think Elon tweeted it out or whatever, the whole interview with Alex Jones and stuff, and that's like an hour some long that you have to have Twitter open just to watch it. You have to be sitting there just.
They do have a picture-in-picture mode, though.
Yeah, but let me give you this example. So the only long form content that has been successful on Twitter is Twitter Spaces, which is basically like a talk radio show, or like it's basically everyone gets in there and it's just a chat room essentially. That's the only long form content that has been successful on Twitter. If Twitter were to integrate podcasts, that might get a lot more stuff, because it's easier to like listen to stuff on Twitter as you're scrolling through than it is to like be watching something as you're scrolling through. If you look at just recently what happened with the New York Times and Elon with the "Go F yourself" moment, on Twitter, you were hard pressed to find like the full interview from that New York Times piece.
Clip, yeah.
But the little clips of Elon going like "Go F yourself," they were all over the place, because the audience on Twitter doesn't want long form content. They want the short bites of information that they can consume quickly and move on to the next thing. And that's part of the ecosystem thing that I was talking about, where it's like if you understand the ecosystem of the platform, then you understand how to make content for that platform that will go viral or build an audience or so on and so forth.
So I know we've talked a lot about social media and YouTube and all that jazz, but I know that True Pop Culture wanted to pick your brain, and same thing for Extra Zero. True Pop, you wanted to ask him a few questions about something? I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
Yes, he thinks.
I was wondering. Yeah, that too. I was wondering if you watched the Godzilla -1 and wanted to hear your thoughts on it if you did.
I did watch it. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a little bit overrated in the sense that people are going crazy over it, saying like, "Oh, it's the best movie of the year," or "It's the best movie I've ever seen." Like, it is a good movie, but I don't think it's at that level personally. That's just me. But yeah, like I really enjoyed the movie.
Oh, cool. I thought that too. I do have some criticisms. There's some problems in plot, but I think overall it left you feeling satisfied. I did not expect that ending whatsoever. I was actually kind of expecting it to end like on a dour note, especially if it's like a Godzilla horror movie monster, like that kind of thing. But no, I think what gets it all together is that ending, and no, it really makes it more enjoyable and makes you leave the cinema in kind of like a happy mood, I suppose.
If you're a fan of Godzilla -1, there's a TV show I want you to check out because it, in terms of quality, is one of the most incredible things I've seen all year.
The Monarch one on Apple.
No.
Okay.
No.
I've been hearing mixed things.
I'm enjoying Monarch. It's not like a good show, but it's like it is what it is. But if you go on Netflix and you watch a show called Blue-Eyed Samurai, this is like if Kurosawa, John Woo, and Quentin Tarantino had a baby and made a epic Japanese samurai tale. It's animated, but the animation quality is so good it's almost like watching a live action show. It is incredible. And this is the type of thing where I'm like, this is the show of the year or something like that, because
it's been renewed for a season 2 from what I've read.
I hope so, because I'm 4 episodes in and it is incredible. It is amazing. And I would highly recommend that if you liked Godzilla -1 that you check that out.
I've heard of it. I saw it on Twitter, Netflix, because I go watch all sorts of animated stuff on Netflix. I've been wanting to watch it, but if you're giving good credit to it, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's worth checking out.
What I liked about Godzilla -1 was that they had meaningful character arcs, and I think that's one of the things that's missing, especially in sci-fi and anything to do with giant monster fantasy. I like the fact that all the characters, despite going in and watching a subtitled movie, I walked out knowing who every character was. I knew who Koichi was, Noriko. I knew who Doc and the kid and the captain were, and I liked all of their arcs, the mechanic as well. And to me, that's what made it one of the better, if not the best movie that I saw all year, was that each of these characters had time to go through their own individual arcs. And I think that's the component that we're missing from movies. And was it the best movie ever? No. Was it the best Godzilla movie ever? Maybe. But I think one of the things that it did was make me nostalgic for a time when stories had meaningful character arcs and where the ending was hopeful. Everything now is kind of like bleak. It's terrible being a human. You shouldn't exist.
Deconstruction.
Right. And I think when we had Jason Sandberg on, the thing that I liked about what he wanted to do is create a comic that was life affirming. And I think he was very successful. Again, shout out to Jupiter. Go read that. And I think we're longing for that stuff that makes us hopeful, stuff that's life affirming, stuff that makes us care about our fellow man. That's missing from our entertainment. And I think that, to me, as I've dissected it in my mind, is one of the elements that makes it a really good movie, at least in the current slate of what we're getting today. And do you think that's an element that's lacking in entertainment, just all around?
Yeah, I mean, like there are these cycles that go in entertainment. Like in the 50s, everything was very like conservative and kind of like hopeful and interesting and discoverability. Then you get into like the 60s and 70s, and it cycles into a more cynical time frame where it's a different generation, so they're interested in different things. And the 80s comes around, and it's like like E.T. and Blockbuster and spectacle and stuff like that. And so that was another swing from like that was a response to the cynicalness of the 60s and 70s and the hopefulness of the 80s. And then like we swung back in the 90s, but instead of swinging back into more hopeful stuff, just this next generation, it was just like, we're going to get even more, cynical. And I feel like we're at this point now where it's like, it's not even about cynical. It's about checking politically correct boxes to use entertainment as a form of propaganda and training, like some type of like DEI training for people, as opposed to actual entertainment. So they're looking at it as a vehicle for a message as opposed to actually entertaining you.
You're right on that, but it's also very nihilistic. if you would, because there is no like cynical nature to most of these movies now. I watched that Obama life after
Leave the world
whatever it is.
behind.
Leave
Yeah.
the world behind. And I'm watching it last night because I had a friend that wanted me to give my thoughts.
Why
on
would
it.
you watch that willingly?
I had a friend that wanted me to give my thoughts on it.
He's a
And the ending
commentator.
is-
That's why he hate watches.
I don't even want to
wanted
do a
you to go
review.
through a struggle session. How communist of him.
I didn't even want to do a review on it because it's just so lackluster and dour at the end. And like, I wasn't happy. I wasn't sad. I just hated everything right then. So I had to go off and do something. And that's all that we're getting fed here is propaganda and nihilism. Just hate everything around you and then move on.
Because, I think these artists, kind of like his Zack Snyder's and stuff like that, they think it's nuanced to break something down. And they've done it so much at this point that they don't know how to build something up. Oh, what's this? Oh, evil Superman. Let's break him down. Let's see how much power corrupts him. Blah, blah, blah. And how about we have something hopeful? How about we have something heroic?
Well,
it's not as hard as people say. It's not as boring or unnuanced as people say. There is some credit to it. It's worth doing.
Well, I've said many times that I think that a lot of these current writers, and Matt, I'm curious what you think on this, is they use subversion. It's like they have kind of like what would the audience least expect? What kind of twist can we do in place of clever or creative writing? I don't want to spoil anything for -1 because I think everybody should see it, but I will say in the movie, Doc has a good plan for stopping Godzilla. I walked out thinking like, oh, that's really creative. That's instead of just, hey, let's load him full of lead, let's do this. And again, I don't want to spoil it because it's creative. I think that, if this was an American movie, they'd be like, oh, well, let's just create our own giant monster, that sort of
Robo
thing.
Godzilla.
Right. That makes no sense in the space, or let's expose one of our guys to radiation. They try to come up with these subversive things that, I think they think the audience wouldn't expect, but they're so out of left field, they don't work. And then also, I guess my side question to that is, do you think that a lot of this stuff is all first draft? Do you think this stuff even goes through extensive reads and rewrites anymore? Or are they just rushing this, at least from Western cinema, into production?
I think that it's very rare to have a completed script before you go into production in Hollywood. Rewrites happen constantly, sometimes daily. The issue is, so like to use Godzilla -1 as an example, the gentleman who wrote and directed that movie, he was a Godzilla fan, and he made that movie for Godzilla fans. Even like the CGI, it looks like a man in a suit walking around. And
TruePop like that.
Yeah,
that was done very deliberately because like it was a callback to the original Godzilla. Fans would really enjoy that. When it comes to Hollywood is more concerned about spectacle, aka trailer moments. They're more concerned about messaging as opposed to actual story arcs. They are not organized at all because organization takes time and planning, and you need a certain type of person to do that. And those people typically aren't very creative. And there's a lot of egos in Hollywood. And so like, if it's not studio interference, it's creative visions clashing. And it's very hard to make something good in Hollywood anymore simply because there's so many factors at play, not the least of which is like the union stuff where like, you could Godzilla -1, I think was like a $10 million movie. An episode of She-Hulk, it was $25 million per episode, right? So
Jeez.
One episode of She-Hulk twerking in the office cost more than all of Godzilla -1. And so like if you were able to actually like strip away a lot of these like union rules and stuff like that, and just like have creatives, like have a single person with a creative vision and people there to support them in making stuff, you probably get better quality stuff a lot cheaper than you are right now. Because I feel like a lot of these AAA movies are actually just like money laundering mechanisms where it's like, okay, we're going to pad the producer's pockets with extra cash through the budget just by saying that like, oh, we need X amount for like a reshoot or something like that. Like there's all types of like weird Hollywood accounting stuff that goes on. But to answer your question, the style of making movies has drastically changed over the past couple of decades, to the point where like you have these articles coming out where J.J. Abrams, when he started shooting Rise of Skywalker, he went to Daisy Ridley. He's like, "Hey, we're going to make you Palpatine's granddaughter," and she's like, "Oh, okay." And then as they were shooting, he was like, "Well, things are in flux. I don't know if you're going to be Palpatine's granddaughter or not." Like that's a huge plot point in that movie, and the fact that like they hadn't nailed that down and they were still like writing the script as they went just boggles my mind. Like it doesn't take a lot to plan out a movie, you know, like at least the story for a movie. So the fact that like they didn't know how to do it after like, you know, J.J. Abrams has made God knows how many movies by this point, just boggles my mind. But that's endemic in Hollywood. That's how they do things.
One of the things I'm curious about your stance on is like Kevin Smith was one of the staunchest critics of the prequel trilogy. And he famously said George Lucas wrote it all in a weekend in his bathtub, was his dismissal of the prequels. And the prequels, there's things about them I like, but I'm not going to sit here and defend them because I think objectively there's problems. It always interests me that Smith, he's like one of the biggest simps for the sequel trilogy. And it's, you know, and anybody can see that there was no clear vision for the sequels. Why do you think it was people were so hard on the prequels, but they're so passive with the sequels?
I don't think they're people who are passive with the sequels, but I'll tell you this much. So Kevin Smith worked with George Lucas directly back when Lucas was coming up with a TV show based on Star Wars. Kevin Smith was going to be one of the writers on the show or whatever. So he had direct access to Lucas and his thoughts and how he like, you know, did Star Wars and stuff like that. But the thing about Kevin Smith is that when he first started, he started as someone who loved movies, and he wanted to make the type of movies he wanted to make, but he also wanted to succeed in Hollywood. He wanted the fame and stuff like that. And he got to a point where basically his career had stalled out. And he basically, you know, he did some TV shows or like whatever, but his pivot in order to keep food on the table and stuff like that was he became a reality TV guy. Like he'd do specials for comic book nerds, stuff like that. But he quickly realized that, you know, like if he were to be truthful about how he thought about a lot of stuff, he'd be biting the hand that fed him. Right. And nowadays, like after his heart attack, he hasn't been the same person.
Yeah, I saw him just before the heart attack. Like I saw him at AwesomeCon in 2016. I think that was before his heart attack, and he was a very different guy than he is now.
Yeah, like his heart attack really changed him. And ever like post heart attack, like he's not the same Kevin Smith who was like that plucky indie filmmaker who basically redefined, you know, teen angst and comedy and, you know, Ben Affleck and, you know, all that stuff. Nowadays, like I can't even watch his movies. I did like his Masters of the Universe take, but like there were some creative decisions I didn't agree with on that. Like I could sit there and listen to the guy talk about movies all day long, but like when you go to a Snyder DC movie and you start crying because of like one scene, it's like it's like dude, you're emotionally damaged. That's where the emotional damage comes in.
He's pivoting more so to the corporations than to actual people. And like you said before, that the Godzilla movie was made by a fan of Godzilla, and he made it for the Godzilla audience. And it's the same thing with Five Nights at Freddy's. That was, you know, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's rewriting that script again. And that movie was specifically, again, made for fans, and that's why it was so successful. But I can't help but think, like, a company like Warner Brothers, for instance, with Aquaman 2, like you said, I only see spectacle in that movie. I just see product. How well do you think WB is going to be faring with these upcoming DC movies and overall in general? I think they're in massive trouble.
Too, with also James Gunn saying that they're too big to fail. Like I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah. To be fair, that bankruptcy thing is just a projection from one individual, so that there is that to look at. It's not guaranteed that they are going to go bankrupt.
Yeah, that report was actually more about the potential to go bankrupt as opposed to actually going bankrupt. And the reason for that is because like WB right now, they have a lot of debt and they're taking a lot of loss. But if you look at what happened,
if you look at what $300 to $500 million in 2023 alone.
Yeah, but if you look at like what's been going on with that studio since David Zaslav stepped in and they did the merger with Discovery. So like he inherited a lot of really bad decisions from the previous Warner Brothers regime, and a lot of that a lot of that stuff was based off of the mismanagement of the DC properties, mostly because of Zack Snyder, in my opinion. So like there was a lot of stuff that on the table that they had to get past before they can start, gearing things more towards a profit. So one of the things that Zaslav told Gunn is like, hey, like you can do whatever you want with DC, but get us out of these big contracts with named stars and use lesser known actors that we can pay less, So they are doing these austerity measures. And for the first couple years after they took over, they knew that they were going to be, not profitable because they were trying to get rid of a lot of these bad deals that they made. They were trying to cut a lot of the fat of the company. And if you look at like how much they lost this year compared to Disney lost way more money than them, but like there's no chance Disney's going bankrupt. And a lot of this has to do with like their credit rating and how easy it is for them to borrow money, because Warner Brothers Discovery is coming off of like 2 years of underperforming. It's harder for them to, get bank loans or get investors. And if they do that, then they have to, pay more in interest or like whatever the case may be. And so that's one of the reasons for that high probability score, is because it's harder for Warner Brothers Discovery to, borrow money than it was for them like 2-3 years ago or whatever the case may be. But keep in mind, AT&T still, technically owns Warner Brothers, and they have very deep pockets. And so I doubt that AT&T would actually kind of write off that whole thing, let them go bankrupt, rather than give them a cash infusion of some type. So when it comes to this stuff, like my guess is that people are latching onto that because they don't like the way Zaslav is running things over there. And so like they're using it to try to pressure him to, make decisions that, he probably doesn't want to make. But I do tend to agree with Gunn in the sense that, like WB, like it is too big to fail. And there's this rumor out there that they're trying to get the company to a point where they can sell it off to Universal, and I kind of doubt that. I don't think Universal is really into the acquisition business. Like they're not Disney, and they've been really good these past couple of years because they've actually been making movies that people want to see, and staying out of the streaming wars for the most part and all that stuff. So I don't put a lot of stock in saying that Warner Brothers is in danger of going bankrupt. I think that you could make an argument that most Hollywood studios are always on the verge of bankruptcy, just because like they, if they make like a series of bad decisions in 1 year, like they're going to lose a lot of money. Paramount's been kind of like circling the bankruptcy thing for like a while now. But I don't see Warner Brothers, going down anytime soon, because they're more than just a movie studio. Like they've got other elements to their stuff, and just merchandising Harry Potter stuff alone can probably keep them from going into bankruptcy. So I don't put too much stock in that personally.
Are you going to be watching the
Matt, I know you said you could only be on for an hour, so if you want to stay on longer, that's fine with me. Just let me know.
Yeah, I can stay on a little bit longer.
Awesome.
Okay.
I was going to ask, are you going to watch the Black Harry Potter? It's coming out with the title that we can't say on
Water.
This.
The magical N-words.
Yeah, I'm
well, Double
probably
can. He's black
get
standing.
that one.
Did you guys see the plot for that movie? Like, there's been a trailer for it, and I would have never in a million years guessed that it was a rom-com of all things.
This week, I didn't expect it to be a rom-com, but this week in my whole delving down rabbit holes of Doctor Who, I read The Verge's review on The Giggle. Apparently, the term magical N-word is a real term. And it stands for...
Yeah.
I never knew that. I never knew that was a thing.
I first heard it when The Legend of Bagger Vance came out. And that was like the criticism that people were having in that movie. Like people were like, "Oh, it's another magical," and the term's been around, but I didn't think that people really took it too seriously. I mean, for me, it's always like, well, what's the context of the movie?
Well, we also live in 2023 where
everybody takes everything super seriously.
I'm not surprised David Alan Grier's in that, because just seeing his slow descent when he left he stopped showing up on Corolla's podcast and started calling him racist. And
I saw Bobcat Goldthwait, dude, and he went on a tirade about Adam Carolla. And I've met Adam Carolla, and he's a really nice guy.
Yeah. So David
Not
Allen
surprising.
being a racist piece of shit movie doesn't surprise me.
Extra Zero. Do you guys want to do meme break now or wait till a little later in the show? Once we cover topics.
We got a good selection of memes, so it's really up to Matt.
No,
if
we
you want us to go through memes, or if you want to cover another story.
Yeah, Matt, do you want to stick around for memes and then go out?
Actually, I was wondering, did you guys have any more questions about YouTube and live streaming or anything like that?
I have a question. How do thumbnails affect live streams and stuff like that?
Very much.
So thumbnails are probably one of the most important marketing materials on YouTube because they're the thing that's going to catch people's attention first and foremost and stop. And one of the interesting things about thumbnails for live streaming is that if you guys notice, whether you're on your phone or you're on like the YouTube homepage or whatever, is if you stop and hover over something long enough, it auto plays. So the thumbnail will disappear very quickly and start going into the video. But on a live stream that hasn't happened yet, it's pure thumbnail. Like the thumbnail doesn't go away because there's nothing to autoplay. So thumbnails are even more important for live streams than they are for like regular videos. But thumbnails are like the number one key metric to get people to focus in on your video first and foremost. And then they read the title. And if the thumbnail and title are enticing enough, they'll click on it. And what happens with YouTube before they have enough like watch time data to determine whether or not a video like is satisfying viewers, they first look at the click-through rate until they get that watch-through data. And if you can get your click-through rate as high as possible, YouTube initially will push you out more than they normally would with a lower click-through rate. Now, click-through rate's kind of dependent because like if you get like 1 million impressions and your click-through rate's like, 0.5%, that's a bad click-through rate. But if it's like 5%, you might say, 5% is kind of low, but off of 1 million impressions, like that's like what, 50,000 views or something like that. So it's all dependent on like how much YouTube pushes out your stuff. But until they get that watch time data, click-through rate's the number one metric you need to shoot for. In order to do that, you need a good thumbnail and you need a good title.
My final question is, how would you implement tags on a live stream? Like, do you do that before you do your live stream, or do you wait till after your live stream to do tags?
Yeah, so tags aren't really all that important, and I'll tell you why. And it's because Google has this AI thing. It's called Google Vision. And what Google Vision does is it kind of like, it's able to look at your thumbnail. It's able to look at every frame of your video. It's able to look at everything that you've said because it's being transcribed as you say it. And it runs it through like all these different filters to determine what categories you fit in that YouTube already has listed out. And so they find that the YouTube AI is much better at tagging what your video is about than people who actually put the tags in. Now, that being said, if YouTube, as long as YouTube allows you to put tags in, like you should be putting tags in. But one of the things that you want to do is you want to front load it with what's most relevant to the audience. So the topic that you're talking about, like Godzilla -1, would be like your first tag if you're talking about Godzilla -1, right? But as you go down the road, because you can put up to 500 characters in there, but you typically only want to put in around 300 usually. What you'd also want to do is you'd want to put in tags like live stream, or you want to put in the names of shows that are similar to yours to kind of give YouTube some context of who the viewers are that you're going after. And so like if you can do that, to give the topic and like the audience information, YouTube will take that in and use that to help figure out who the viewer that would be most interested in your live stream would be to serve them out to. Okay. But tags don't really matter all that much, honestly.
I have a question.
So, there's a program, I'm not sure how many of us have it, called vidIQ. I'm sure you've heard of it, especially knowing as much about YouTube as you do. They like offer you like AI things where it'll suggest different tags or different names for whatever video or whatever stream you're doing. Do you recommend those kind of things to kind of help people out in the beginning?
Yeah. The thing about your title, your thumbnail, your description, all that stuff, a lot of people look at that and it's like, oh, I need to do some sneaky search engine optimization stuff in order for my video to show up in YouTube search, right? But what you really want to do is you want to try to figure out, okay, if I was a human viewer, what would I respond to? Like you have to ask yourself, what does my viewer care about? What do they hate? What are they afraid of? What do they desire? What are they curious about? And from the answers to those questions, you create your title and your thumbnail, because ultimately it's about somebody sitting down at YouTube and deciding to click on your video and watch it. And so you want to try to appeal more to the human than to the algorithm. Now, what vidIQ helps you do is it helps give you ideas of what that might be. So what oftentimes I'll do is I'll take the AI generated titles that they suggest, and I'll be like, okay, how can I kind of like this one? How can I spin this to make it even more appealing? And then use that stuff as a jumping off point. So I wouldn't depend too heavily on vidIQ. What vidIQ is really good for is looking at other people's YouTube channels and figuring out, okay, what are they doing that's working? What videos of theirs are popping off? They have a great competitor tracking tool where you can track up to 20 different channels and see like what videos are they publishing? What are they doing? Like stuff like that. But for the most part, you want to have a more kind of person-centered experience with your videos as opposed to trying to figure out, okay, what's YouTube going to do, or what can I do for the search engine type thing.
So when it comes to live streams, when we do, because I know YouTube has an issue with reused content, does that apply to live stream clips as well?
No, like the reused content thing is actually very misunderstood.
Mhm.
Because it's a scale thing, right? Like if you have a 2-hour live stream, and let's say you pop out 2 or 3 10-minute clips from that 2-hour live stream, that's transformative. So it's not reused content. The reused content would be something like if there were 50,000 channels out there that are all using the same piece of royalty-free music, then YouTube might be like, like that's a little bit suspect. If you keep just uploading the same video over and over and over again with different thumbnails or like whatever, then that's duplicate content, right? So it's not something where it's like, oh, if this piece of content also exists inside of this piece of content, you're going to get dinged for duplicate content. That's not how it works, right? Like YouTube wants you to repurpose stuff. But the issue comes in at, like, you have these channels that'll just like steal content from other channels and like publish them without any transformative nature and things of that nature. Like that's the type of stuff that YouTube doesn't want to happen, right? Because that goes against the goal of giving users value and keeping them on the platform longer. So like for this live stream, for instance, if you were to cut out like 3 10-minute clips from it and publish it on your channel, on the same channel that this live stream is available on, that's transformative because it's not the whole thing, right? It's a bite-sized thing. And so YouTube's not going to penalize you for that because it views the videos as different because they're different links. They can have different titles and thumbnails and all that stuff.
I really wish you could have told me this back when I was getting monetized, because my channel is primarily stream clips, with funny edits and whatnot of the Fellowship in general. And I was so damn worried about reused content. I'm like, is YouTube gonna classify this as transformative? I don't know. It's just some of them are just downright stream clips. If I have one video, does that demonetize all my channel, or is it okay? I was stressing out. I was waiting like a day or two, but then they got back monetized. Then I was just sign of relief. And then I learned later on that you are never in any real big trouble in the first place. So that's
if you want to take clips from another creator, like best practice is just reach out to them, let them know like, hey, I'm going to clip this. Is this okay? And then transform it. Don't just like repost it. Like do something where it's like you edit it in your own way. You add some music to it. You add I don't know, like images or something like that. You make it different from what it was. You don't just want to
want who's talking.
Yeah, it can be as simple as that. So like it's perfectly reasonable to do that, especially if you're giving credit to the source, where it's like like this is from this date on this channel and this show or like whatever. As long as you're crediting the source, most people will be fine with it, and YouTube will probably be fine with it too. But there's always that transformative nature, because as long as it's transformative, it falls under fair use, right? So you want to make sure that you're not just like doing one-for-one copying. You want to pull something, you want to add your own flair to it, and that puts it under fair use, and therefore it's not duplicate content.
I have a question about what do you think best practices are when promoting a live stream? Like, how far in advance do you really think it should be promoted? Like a couple days, the day before, day of? What's been your best experience with it?
So in terms of just convenience, like I like to set up a live stream at least 24 hours before it's set to go live. But YouTube won't actually start pushing that out until about maybe 30 minutes before like the show's set to go. But what it really comes down to is that when you do live streams long enough, you tend to create a community around the live streams. Like
right.
People show up and chat, people who donate to you, the people who join your Discord, or like whatever the case may be. And what's really important about promoting your live stream is that you promote it in a way that goes to the audience for that live stream, right? So like if you post on Twitter, you might get a couple people on Twitter to come over and check it out, but for the most part, it's going to go ignored. Same thing with Facebook, same thing with Instagram, same thing with TikTok, because the platforms all have their own ecosystem, right? So when it comes to promoting your live stream, you need to either do what it takes to get YouTube to organically push it out to an audience, or you need to cultivate an audience from the live stream that you can then alert about your new live streams. Like if you look at my name down here, I have saltynerdlive.com. That's a domain name that if you go to saltynerdlive.com at any point, you'll see either an archive of our past live streams or when our next live stream is coming up once we've scheduled it. And so it makes it really easy to just kind of like go on other people's live streams and be like, hey, check out saltynerdlive.com for our next, live stream. But the biggest thing is allowing YouTube to kind of like find your audience for you and get them over there. But the second biggest thing is going on other people's live streams who share your audience, like the type of people you want to make content for, and being on their, getting exposure to their audience and being like, hey, come check our stuff out. Because some of the Salty Nerds' biggest fans are people who came from other channels and other live streams and stuff like that. So in order to basically answer your question, go on other people's live streams, promote your own live stream, optimize your live stream for YouTube to push out, and also have a way to reach your hardcore audience, your community that's building up around your live stream, and let them know when the next one is coming out.
Yeah, that makes sense, but it's difficult to get on other people's live stream. To be honest,
it's actually not, man. That's a big myth. It is not hard to get on other people's live streams.
Yeah, you just have to put yourself out there. That's what I did for Side Scrollers. It's like, hey, if you ever want me as a guest, and they were.
Well,
there's
my
first live stream was on Comics Division's channel. I would have thought it was impossible, but
I don't know. Sometimes
now I'm here.
I don't know. I guess it's sometimes too much of the British politeness. It's rude to ask like, "Hey, can I come on the channel?" It's just like I'm barging into someone's home.
Well, there's this thing called the power of the ask, where like if you don't ask, you never get what you want, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're a fan of a live stream, reach out to the people on that live stream, and be like, "Hey, can I come on sometime? I'm a big fan." The worst they can do is tell you no. Right. But if you ask enough people, like eventually, you'll get on. And like, if you have a big group, like you guys, each one of you are asking to go on different streams and stuff like that. There's a snowballing effect, right? Where you're able to kind of distribute yourself amongst, the niche and get people aware of you and get people to come over, or at the very least join your Discord. Right. But if you don't ask, it doesn't happen. So at the very least, find out where people are posting, whether it be Twitter or Instagram or whatever, or even the comment section on YouTube, and reply to them or send them a DM and just be like, hey, I'm a big fan. Would it be possible to either get you on our live stream or get on your live stream?
I think we need an Instagram presence now too.
Yeah.
We have an Instagram presence, but it's difficult for me to cover everything, but we certainly do have an Instagram presence. Side Scrollers has been taking a lot of the memes that we put up on the show and putting it on there as well as tagging us. So big shout out to Side Scrollers for doing my job for me.
Blabs does a good job facilitating all that. I know.
Yeah, I appreciate. I appreciate any channel that gives us a shout out or gives us the time of day, because at the end of the day, a lot of these channels are really, really big, and
Well-
it's very difficult to keep up with everything. I think a lot of us right now have our own lives, and a lot of that's getting in the way of what we need to do. But I think it
Well,
ebbs and flows at the end of the day.
Well,
I can tell you that as a producer, in order to get guests to show up on your show, all you need to do is just reach out and contact them. Hey,
Yeah.
would you like to be on our
Yeah.
show? And once they're on your show, you can be like, hey, would you ever consider having me on your show? And so like there's a reciprocal nature to that. But I mean, I think that like I didn't know who you guys were until No Green Rocks DM'd me on Twitter one day. I think it was after we got our studio broken into, and he was like, hey, would you like to come on? And like I was just like, yeah, sure. Like sounds like fun, right? So, and I didn't know him. Like he was somebody completely new, but he was like, hey, we'd like to have you on to talk about what you guys just went through or like whatever. And I was like, yeah, So like the worst that can happen is like people are like, oh, I'm too busy or like whatever. Or even worse is like when they agree to come on, then they just ghost you. We've had that happen.
I think the worst is when they're like, yeah, let me know closer to the date. And then you get closer and closer, and you're like, all right, and then you never get a response. But I think that's why nobody really needs. You shouldn't have expectations of either a yes or a no. If they say yes, that's great. If they say no, that's also okay. And just keep on trying to grow your own thing and have it. Somebody said to me, like, your life is a storybook. Some people will come in, some people come out certain chapters, and that's just how it works. You can't really hold a grudge.
I always let TruePop on when he asked to come on my streams. I just asked for nudes first, but I mean,
Well, Devil, you got a hard job because you're always booking like three guests a week, and I thought it was interesting too. Like one of the conversations that you and X-Ray had on that was the different philosophies you have for booking guests, and how she had talked about there's such a thing as booking too many guests in advance, and one of the worst things to happen is like when you have to reschedule somebody. In my tenure as producer, I haven't had to reschedule anybody to accommodate another guest, but
that comes with like the popularity of the show,
right?
Like FNT, like if they get access to like a big name, like and they need to push someone, like for like small and medium sized shows, like I think it's okay to like book very far in advance, as long as you have someone who like every week just reaches out to that person and be like, hey, just want to touch base, like, and make sure you're still available for this date and stuff like that. It's when like if you book someone like 2 months out and you just kind of forget about them and they forget about you, and then like they make plans and they're like, oh wait, I had to do this live stream, I have to cancel. So it really comes down to the producer or whoever's job it is to like follow up with the booked guests.
Shout out to Extra Zero spreadsheets.
Yeah. If you have a big show where it's just like tons of people want to be on it, then like X-Ray Girls stuff applies. But if your show's a little bit smaller, like you can get away with like the longer booking times and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think too. Oh, go ahead, Devil. I was going to say.
Go
I'll go first. I was just going to say, I think that having people booked a couple weeks in advance works if you're a guest-driven show, just because it gives you more time to prep and come up with topics that are more tailored to the guests that you have. I think those create the better conversations. Like, obviously having you on, we had ideas of what we wanted to talk about as far as Hollywood insider stuff. Whereas if you're scrambling, sometimes your notes wind up generic and you wind up with a conversation that's not as engaging. That's what I've found. I don't know if you agree with that, or sometimes you think, maybe sometimes it's better just to have the guest along for the ride.
It depends on the type of show you're doing. It's if you're having a special guest on, it's always best to kind of like center the show around the guest, in my opinion, just to make them feel special. It helps to be familiar with their content. So you, like when we had Razor Fist on, we wanted to talk about Daredevil because he's a big Daredevil fan. Film noir, the Shadow, like there's all types of stuff that when you have Razor Fist on your show, you want to talk to him about some stuff, right? But if you have if a agent reach out to you and it's like, can you have this person on your show, and you don't really know them all that well, but you have them on your show, it's just kind of like, it's better to do like a little bit of homework before they show up, so that you know what they're like, how to engage them. It's even better if like you can reach out to them before they come on the show and just have a little chat, just to get to know them a little bit. But if your show is more about topics and themes, and you can have rotating guests come in and just kind of be part of that, discussion, that's another way to do it. So it doesn't have to be guest centric. It can be, just topical centric. It just depends on what you like. I think it's a little bit easier to go topic centric and just bring in guests as needed. But just depends on what you want to do.
There's also variety shows like Ball Busters that you have to start figuring out who would actually fit on there, because if you're too professional, it's not going to flow.
And I don't want to forget about Devil, because he had a question.
Oh no, it's fine.
Did you forget?
No, it was just gonna be a joke, but
Oh.
What else do I do on here?
So does anybody have any other YouTube question? Chat, this is a perfect time too. If you guys have questions, drop it in chat. We'll bring them up and we'll answer them, because you may have questions that we haven't even thought of that will actually help the community in the long run.
Melee Games isn't here, and there's an example of streamers that, pair streamers that have done a really good job cultivating a community and growing. They're still a small channel, but what I see them doing is, like you were talking about, making an active Discord, engaging that core group, having people share their content, and building engagement. So, James, I'm curious
My life
if you
partner.
have any questions. Yes, becoming Dermy's life partner in the process.
If I hear any more about Power Catch, about Taco and Pickles, I think I'm probably going to go out in the shed and not.
What about Oreos? and there's the thing, building lore in a community. That's another thing that's tough for them. So.
Yeah,
Oreos will be coming back.
Community building is so important for longevity on YouTube. Another thing is just consistency, which is different from frequency, right? Like if you're consistent on YouTube, yeah, there may be a bit of a grind here and there, but if you're consistent and people know like when your shows are, or when you drop new content, or what to expect from you, eventually over time, they'll become a part of that community, just based off of your consistency. Like I think it took our Saturday show like 3 years to get to the point where we have like a good hardcore group of community members who are always in the chat and dropping super chats and being engaging on our Discord and stuff like that. It took a while, right? But we were just consistent about it. It's like every Saturday, come hell or high water, we were putting out a live stream, and eventually people started tuning in. So
we got one.
Oh, Wookie Be Bad has a question. It says, what is the standard good view duration for a 15-minute video?
So the view duration that you always want to go for is 100%, because nothing's more powerful than people watching an entire video of yours. But it's hard to say, because view duration, it depends on the content and the niche and the audience and all that stuff. For a 15-minute video, if you can't get 100%, then as close to 100% as possible is usually good. If people are dropping out at 30% or 20% or 10%, that's where things kind of get dicey. But you always want to be trying to improve your view duration. So every new video you put out, try to get people to watch more of it. Try to figure out how to be more entertaining or more interesting, or whatever the case may be, to get that number as high as you can possibly get. So I would say aim for at least 50%, have people watch at least half your video if you can. But it also depends on how long the video is. So for a 2-hour live stream, 30 minutes might be really good, right?
Yeah.
Depends.
More of the long man, I have a plushie of him here. He makes 3-hour, 4-hour videos. And people don't watch it all in one go,
Edits, and I have nightmares about that edit timeline that he has. I don't know how he does it.
Well, that's why he does.
Has so much passion, and he does a fantastic job.
That's why he does 2 videos a year. He has passion and does everything. But Mahler is also one of the versions of guys that were, I would say, outside the rule. Because he puts so much work into it. people are going to stay around there, and also people drop out and then come back in and pause it, do all
Well,
that.
yeah, I mean, YouTube does take into account people who like leave the video and then come back. Like they have a very sophisticated way of like tracking all that stuff. But like, for like super long form stuff, like, 8 hours, 12 hours, I know that EFAP goes for like insane amounts of time sometimes. It's relative, right? So like if you have people who like stay on for an hour on an 8-hour stream, that might be good for it might be good for an 8-hour stream, because like YouTube has a very small data set of 8-hour streams to pull from to kind of compare it. But like basically the way Mr. Beast explains it is like you just want to try to get people to watch as long as possible, so that the higher that average view duration is to 100%, the better.
And it's funny you bring up Mr. Beast, because I know a lot of people don't like what he's done to YouTube, but I appreciate it a lot, because it's basically he's forcing people to create videos that don't waste your time. That's what I think is super important. People need to realize that everybody's time is precious. So if you're gonna make content, make it good. Don't make lazy content.
Yeah, like with my recent Godzilla review, I've just, I talked to a camera, and it was just important to me to just cut down the breathing, the ums, the ahs, and all that stuff. And yeah, like you said, Subs, just to make it as short as possible. That applies to, I think, writing as well. Like if you write a bunch of shit in a sentence and it just is kind of overly long and doesn't make quite sense, an easy fix for it is just, use just less words and say the same thing, and it'll make much more sense. You don't have to, like, I don't know, be a expert in writing just to make this sentence make sense. You just have to make it shorter and more towards the point, essentially.
It's funny because a lot of people I've seen are using scripts nowadays, and they're not. I think I had this conversation with TruePop. Instead of saying you all, most people say y'all, or what I'm saying, like use words that you would actually use and not what you've written down.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Well, yeah. Now you see why I don't write scripts. But Matt, what do you think right now on YouTube is the most lacking content within our sphere?
What do you mean?
Like, in our community, what do you think would be fresh and interesting for people to see?
Reviewing slime.
Because there's a lot of talking heads. There's a lot of people who are editors and they make videos. What do you think is missing in this community to kind of make it better?
Well, I mean, I think that's the wrong question to ask, because that's a content-centered question. The question you need to be asking is about the audience. What is it that the audience wants more of? What is it that the audience is interested in and that they're not getting? So like, like a lot of the people in our entertainment tube sphere, they care about the health of their favorite franchises, for instance, right? And they're passionate about that stuff. And there's a lot of stuff about like, the destruction of Star Wars, the destruction of Star Trek, the destruction of Doctor Who, like whatever the case may be. And people tune into that because they're passionate about it. They don't care if it's a talking head or if it's a live stream or like whatever the case may be. They tune in because they're passionate about that specific franchise. So the question is like what audiences are being underserved? Is it like a Firefly audience? Like, do people want more Firefly content out there? Do people want more, I don't know, Red Dwarf content? Like, you just have to kind of look and see like what are the really active communities out there, and are they being fed enough? And if they're not, then give them more of what they want. So like, instead of thinking about it as a creator, think about it as a fan. It's like, what aren't the fans getting that we could potentially give them?
The answer is wrestling. I hate to say it. It is wrestling. I don't know how many times I've heard Jeremy be told, hey, where's our wrestling channel? Where's our wrestling channel? Where's our wrestling channel? I'm not into wrestling, so.
Come on, man. If we get you a spandex suit, you'll know you'll.
I mean,
you'll
I
wear it.
used to wrestle in high school, but I'm not
Yeah.
big into WWE.
Yeah,
or-
now he's more into struggle
Look.
cuddles.
Back in the early 2000s, it was wrestling and monster trucks. That's all what the kids were into, and I think the straight guys were into it. You know?
Now, with that, I know Matt, you got to get going. So I want to thank you again for coming on, for your time, and for having this discussion. Before
Thanks,
you
Matt.
go, you say the Salty Nerd podcast. Is there anything that you wanted to shout out or promote?
Well, we do 2 live streams a week on Saturday and on Tuesdays. And this Tuesday we have an actual magician who's coming into our studio, and we're going to be looking at clips from movies that use magic in them, and we're going to have him react to them. And
Are you going to show him Now You See Me?
Yes, we are.
Prestige?
Yep. That's on the list. So
yeah, Prestige.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of clips that we're going to have him watch and kind of analyze for us, and it should be fun. Like, he's a practicing magician out here in Vegas, so he's very knowledgeable, very cool guy. And then we've got our review of Return of the King dropping for the anniversary, and then we're taking Christmas off. So,
Oh, happy Christmas!
Yes, nothing new until 2024.
Merry Christmas, Matthew.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas to you.
Well, Matt, thank you for coming on, man. I think a lot of us are just kind of absorbing the knowledge you gave us. Everybody, take the advice to heart. Don't let it be a wasted opportunity. I think if we listen, all our content can grow, and that's the whole point of everything we do, is to get better as creators, and just keep on moving forward, guys.
Yep. Thanks for having me on, guys. Always fun time. And,
appreciate you, Matt. We'll see you soon.
Yep,
you, Matt.
have a good rest of the stream, and say hello, everyone in chat. Thank you for being here. I'll catch you guys later.
See you later, mate.
See you on.
Wow,
Okay,
that was
time to end the stream.
my
Actually,
brain.
you know what to do.
Don't end the stream.
No, we're
my
not.
brain is now stuffed with knowledge. This I'm going to be thinking about this for days. That
Mega
was
Mind
awesome.
brain.
Thank you again to Matt for that.
Yeah.
And go check out the
Matt.
producer stream, guys.
I wanted to wait until after he left because Extra Zero that was saying that he loves your spreadsheets. I've heard way too much about Dermy's spread cheeks, so
Oh my fuck. I was gonna say something nice here. I've been actually looking at more into my analytics, trying to figure stuff out because I'm trying
Your
to grow.
analingus?
Motherfuckers. I'm trying to get to 5K by the end of 2024, and
That is
Yeah.
ambitious, Dermy. That is really ambitious.
Hey,
Damn.
man, what did you say about asking?
just go ahead and do it.
No, he said you ask. Don't be afraid of a no. Just keep on doing it.
I'm asking. There's somebody I was gonna ask here soon about some stuff. I just need to work it out.
Well, let's Extra Zero. I know we have topics on the list. Anything you want to bring
before
up?
we do,
Yes.
we got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Coffee Brand Coffee. So
Yes, thank
Jeremy-
you, Coffee Brand Coffee.
Yeah. Jeremy's been gracious enough to be a sponsor of ours. Now, I believe if you are trying to get Coffee Brand Coffee for the holidays for anybody, he sent out an email today saying that there are 5 days left to go on their discounted premium gift boxes. So again, there is time to get an order in if you're looking for a last minute Christmas gift. I actually have a thing of Coffee Brand Coffee for a family member this year. I can't say who. I don't think he's watching the stream, but just in case he is, I'm not going to say who I got it for, but there's a family member of mine that is getting some Coffee Brand Coffee. So if you want to help support a small business and help support the Legion of Memers, watch this ad.
Well, turn that frown upside down. The Legion of Memers is here to give you some chuckles, you thingus. And we're happy to bring you something to help give you that extra kick. To get you up in the morning. Introducing Coffee Brand Coffee. Fresh roasted with no gimmicks. And plenty of flavors to choose from. Use code HAIL the LOM to get 10% off and to help support the channel.
Yep, I gotta get 2 new bags because I have just finished mine.
I got to get the blueberry one next, the blueberry cobbler, I think it is.
Tress, I appreciate that. Yes, I get rained
Yeah.
on.
I read that comment very wrong.
I thought it was because of the rainbow afro.
So, Extra Zero, what we got for topics today?
Yeah, let's talk about this one because this has been an interesting roller coaster. I know there's a lot of commentators talking about it this week.
Oh, no.
This comes from Twitch. So,
Kenzo switching topics very smoothly as well.
Yeah, right. Upon reflection, we've decided that we went too far with this change. Twitch is now rolling back their recent artistic nudity policy change. I think this came from, I believe her name was Mordpie, who was a topless streamer who fought back against Twitch.
Not really topless, but yeah, topless.
Yeah, and it's they really unleashed, but they opened up the floodgates.
Yeah.
No,
Extra,
really?
do you know how many days has it been? I think 2.
2.
I counted 2.
It was a day. It was 24 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 24 hours in total. And are you really shocked? You have a site that's practically just cam girls, and you're now allowing artistic nudity. What do you think's gonna happen?
The other thing too is VTubers started doing this too. So VTubers started turning their little avatars into nudes. Nudes.
Apparently, there was one of them that was a guy.
Yeah. I mean,
oh God. God.
Lofty's always trying
name's
to
TruePop.
So, but they also had to come out with an additional statement saying, moving forward, depictions of real or fictional nudity won't be allowed on Twitch, regardless of the medium.
Wow. They doubled down on the reverse. Yeah. The funny thing about this is, like artistic nudity, like the quartering, I'm pretty sure, was like going onto Twitch, not logging in, and just clicking one of these cam girls, and just like that's how easily a 13 to 12-year-old can just go on Twitch and watch boobies all day. Like, what the hell do you guys think would have happened? And the fact that you don't need to log in to watch these streams is just absolutely absurd.
Well, oh Jesus Christ, Kenzo, what the fuck?
What did he post?
Do you
He
not
didn't
see his
post anything.
avatar?
He changed his avatar
Okay. Yeah.
to Maza.
Maza.
Oh no!
You know that
Maza-
VTuber there was actually a guy, right?
Oh.
What?
I can't believe. I don't
Yeah.
know what possessed him to say it was okay in the first place, but the
Well,
second
it makes
second
sense.
advertisers saw what was going on, I guarantee you they got hundreds of phone calls.
But Rox, it actually makes sense for them just to say, "F it, let's go full nudity," because they're already basically a softcore porn website. That's what they are. They're just not admitting it, and for that moment, they were just admitting it. You know what? Let's just go full Pornhub. Okay, they thought they were trying to hide it behind this whole thing of, well, we're going to be autistic about it, and people can just, rub paint on their nipples and do all this and everything like that. But then you're right, advertisers came in and goes like, guys, you're basically become Pornhub for kids. Okay, we can't be promoting this. We can't be putting ads on this. If you do this, we're going to pull out. So that's why they immediately did that switch and saying, oh, we never thought this was going to happen. Bullshit. You had Amaranth on there going up to her mic like...
You have a good point there because on PlayStation and Xbox, Twitch is tied into their UIs. Like at least if you pull up a game in the store, it'll actually start pulling up Twitch streams that are just under it without you even having it. I don't have it. I do have a Twitch account. I did make one for side scrollers, but prior to me making one, it would just feed all kinds of Twitch streams in when I was looking at content for a game on those storefronts.
I mean, you're completely right there because on my PS5 I can only stream because I use my PS5 to stream games with, and no, it only gives you YouTube or Twitch, which is stupid. But
well, it's
you're right.
It's integrated into everything. So
yeah,
it makes sense. And it was fucking Pornhub. That's all they did. They just admitted it. And I kind of wish they would have kept it legitimately. Just finally admit that you guys are a porn website. That's all you guys need to do because now we're back to this whole thing of, well, it's a gaming website where girls are on there and everything like that. And then you have this whole thing of, well, they're not really there. They're in hot tubs, or they're going up to their mic and go like,
I mean, as Krigler loves to talk about, that their community manager is a deer person. So
yes. Well, I think she got fired. She
No.
or whatever got fired.
no, they're still there, because that came up, and Adam like went and confirmed that no, that person's still there. It's just however they've managed their PR, they've kept them out of the news.
I still have to figure out. They identify as deer. Does that mean they're open when deer season rolls around? I have to know. These are questions that nobody seems to ask, and they're like, "Oh no, we can't ask that. You're threatening to kill them." And it's like, no.
This reminds me of one of my videos. Marlo was discussing it, and it's just like, yeah, you get like your Twitch deer identifying people, you get like your dragon identifying people, or rabbit or stuff like that. You never get like a snail kin. You never get like rat kin, do you? It's always the majestic animal.
Now we're almost to the top of the hour, so I want to leave some time for meme break and outros. But Rox, I know you wanted to promote this.
Oh yes, go check out Nerd Wars YouTube channel. He just released a documentary. Oh wow, 22,000 views. Good on you, mate. Keep up the good work. I know he's been working on this for a very, very long time. And if you're a fan of us and the Fellowship, I think it's a really important documentary for you to see. He does some fantastic work, and I'm really happy to see his success. Keep up the good work, Nerd Wars.
He does a lot of really good work, and also he is now the editor for Jeremy himself. So he does all of D-Day Cobra stuff. So yep, Nerd
fantastic,
Wars
man. You know, keep up the good work.
All right. That being said, I think it's time for the meme break.
Let's go.
It's about fucking time, Cam.
I know. Anyway, let's take it away. All right.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Right off the bat. Yay.
This one for me.
I love that Kenzo face. It's like he's being chased or something, you know, kind of like this.
Now's your chance, Kermit.
It's like my balls are being tickled. Yeah. Fuck you, and you're fucking tagging me on Twitter.
There you'll find it. Taylor Swift G-spot.
Kenzo, but it's implying that you're the one doing Kermit, so you're the one doing it.
Yeah, you should be happy, you know.
I am a married gay man.
It's AI.
Yeah, the rest.
So wait, it was the Kermit and what's the green?
That's a very good meme, Zero. Fuck you.
Junk Monster? What was the other one? What's the other puppet?
Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch.
Okay,
And
I didn't know the name.
From your memories, people, just don't dwell on it. Just move on.
I think D-Day it was either D-Day Direwolf or D-Day McLean put out one of as the Silverback.
Yeah, the Silverback. Yep. I think it was D-Day McLean. Yeah.
Yeah, I ignored that one. Fuck you both.
I tagged you in it.
Yeah, I know. I ignored it.
Prior to the show, my wife made this one. It says the FBI is searching through your phone for evidence, but they have to go through 60,000 memes.
What are they searching for, dude?
You know, I don't know.
No, just keep saying that. Keep saying that.
What's crazy is that in my photo album there are 64,448 pictures.
Jeez, man.
Recently I cleaned up all my memes.
I had my iPad with me at the FNT meetup, and Krigler said to me, "Oh, can you show me that picture that you drew of me like months ago?" So I opened up my photos, and he saw it. He was like, "Oh my god, is that what a fucking meme's phone looks like?" I was like, "Yeah."
You know what? If the FBI ever does find our phones, they're gonna be thinking, "Oh my god,
these people are gonna be like, we need to open up insane asylums for these people."
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the other day, I had
maybe extras. Still like international Transformer figures, you never know.
Maybe.
Anyway, guys, smash or pass?
Pass.
Rather die.
So many layers to this.
You're on fire and driving on the Autobahn pass.
I love how there's so many layers to this, though. You know, it's me as this French maid, which fuck you, and I'm finding Kenzo's like secret shrine to Taylor Swift.
It's not a
Yeah.
secret.
Not
Oh.
also, it's not the standard mustache face. You know, it's the mustache face, but it's the skeptical looking mustache face.
And guys, just so you know, the reason why I say to hashtag Legion of Memers in your memes is just in case they don't show up on the thread. I think there are a whole bunch more.
There are plenty more. I
yeah.
posted in the other one. So let's go through. Actually, before we do, let me stop the screen.
Yeah, that's a smart move.
Audio on. And let me go ahead and we'll reshare out with audio. I know Tris posted one with audio. I haven't screened it.
Apparently, it's fine from what I saw.
Fine. Okay, good deal. All right. So first up, we get from Kenzo.
Sacre bleu.
Jeremy declaring that he's so outrageously French.
He's silent. That means he agrees.
Listen, I'm an F word, but I'm not French.
Oh man. Geez, Derby, man, they're really getting you in the maid outfits this week.
What?
It was
I wonder why. It
Oh
sounds
my
like
God.
there's
Wait.
somebody on the panel that just put in the chat, "Hey, dude, Derby as a French maid."
And we delivered.
What is with the maid outfit? What's the context for that?
He's French.
Being French.
Dermy wears maid outfits. What the hell do you think?
I don't
Yeah,
associate
but-
maid outfit. I associate maid outfits
Oh,
with
man.
anime, not with French people.
Marilyn Dermrow.
Oh no.
Oh my God, yuck.
Then we have this one. Let me go back. This is
Oh my
Kenzo's
God.
admission for Beelzebub. So let's go ahead. Let's also make sure
Oh,
we get
no.
audio on this one.
I
Screw
got
you, Kenzo.
railed in a Senate room by a dude, and
Oh
I
my
railed
God.
the dude on camera in the Senate, on the Senate floor or whatever, and now I'm the one who everyone's picking on me.
Can you please send this clip to me?
Oh my God.
Google Drive.
We are just gonna skip that part just because.
I need to start advertising, man. If y'all want like a little fucking animation done for your channel or whatever, or just hit me up.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I like money. Everyone likes money.
You know,
everybody,
you can
if
take-
you want
take that quote.
animation, DM Kenzo, please.
Yeah, hit me up. $50. Let's go.
You can take that quote out of context and have Kenzo pop in after
I'll
Devil's
do
talking about
anything
railing a
for
guy in the
money.
Senate. I like money. I'll do anything. Dude,
You
God,
ever
you're making it worse.
Absolutely anything. I will suck every guy's dick on
Hey,
this channel for $1 million. Even
Let's play
then.
this one too.
Put it up at the crab today. Takes everything you've got.
I love how it ended on Maza and says how everybody knows you're sane.
Monster is a lot, but far from sane.
Oh no, I just. Oh.
What is this?
So this one is from Tris.
Oh, poor
What a beautiful day. Let's check Twitter.
Oh my God.
Oh
you-
my God.
Chris, you are evil.
Let's go back and we got this one from CBC.
Nice.
Tris saying, just naming them all for sure.
I'm the guy behind the camera. All right, fellas. Yeah, you need to
Hey,
puff
I
them up a
look
little
like-
bit.
He's
You know,
the guy
you know?
behind the camera with his dick out.
I would definitely be the one in the cow outfit.
You had to make it gay.
Also for Tris, artistic and band. I like how the TARDIS is behind him.
I mean, there is a
We
difference.
got woke culture.
I look Italian.
I'm gonna do
Uh,
up.
We get Melee James meeting Ezra Miller since he admitted that he kind of liked the Flash.
Extra zero refresh
Oh my God.
page. It looks like we got a few more in.
All right.
James, I love you, buddy. You're my best friend. You're my life partner. Flash wasn't good. Flash wasn't good. What?
Wait, he thought Flash was good. Oh.
We get this one from Professor Savage Dad Normal. Also this one. We get this one from Tris. Why Mazza wants to be a trucker.
Oh.
He's not bad. He's just drawn that way.
This is a great one from Godzilla. The stream's still up. End stream, go see Godzilla, and then I'm sweating bullets. We get interesting. I stand with Kenzo. Tagging Taylor Swift AI pics is a heat crime.
That face is brilliant. That face is fantastic.
Great face. Kenzo, you gotta drop that in the Discord.
Boy, who the fuck gave you that?
This gem from D-Day McLean. We got TruePop.
I'm gonna get cancelled, but it's our time.
Oh my god!
Gayest rapper ever! Holy crap!
Hey,
supremacy.
Yo,
he's gonna drop his single "All Eyes on Memes."
I'd be in like a Pope outfit as well.
Yeah, I think that one win.
You don't
that
like
one wins.
balding women, do you?
No.
I did that one of him and Jada earlier in the week.
No.
And guys, just so you know, remember to hashtag Legion of Memers or at Legion of Memers are new memes during the show, and we will bring them up during the week. If you're meming other shows, do that same thing, and we will retweet it out and like if it makes me laugh.
Or if you're putting a unibrow in Rachel Zegler.
Exactly.
Yes.
You replied to that. I'm just wow. Why does she reply to you?
Wait,
she's replying to everybody. She got into a spat with Professor Savage Dad.
Yeah.
She like if you want to reply out of her, she'll if you tag her, she'll be like,
Emma Watson is harder than you. That's what I'll say.
Go tweet that right now.
I'm not gonna tweet that. No, I don't. I don't stir shit with people, even if there are my age weird actors. I don't know.
Oh wait, we got one more.
So I probably
this
shouldn't
is
say,
from
hey, Rachel Ziegler, you're the cunt face of cunt supremacy.
You needed to have Kenzo say that.
Oh, true.
So this comes from Boris Eddie Gelly saying this is the UMCP statue.
It's not easy, Kenzo.
Now Kenzo's gonna be like, mate, just stop tagging me all this fucking Kermit the Frog memes.
Hey, by the way,
Jesus.
I just tweeted out at Rachel Zegler, Emma Watson is hotter than you from at TruePop Culture.
Oh my god. And on that note,
you're gonna get Stans just dogpiling you. It's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, Taylor.
On that note, CJP, man, what you got coming up this week?
Listen, I've got Forgotten One cast. Melee K and Melee James are going to be joining me, and we're going to be talking Nintendo music. And
awesome, man.
Like I said, I got my second original album release the week after on the 28th for Electric Noise 2 Digital Boogaloo.
Nice. Kenzo, man, what you got coming up this week?
Not a lot. I'm just going to be working on this project for the full Aussie. This should take me about 2 weeks. I'm trying to get it done by the end of year stream. But yeah, it's been a good stream, guys. The memes are fire.
Yeah, that they were. And if anybody is watching that needs animation work, reach out to Kenzo and he'll hook you up.
I'll do anything for money.
$20 and $20, huh?
Oh, you know what we need to do? We need to make Kenzo an ad where that's the tag of the ad. I'll do anything for money.
$5.
Jeremy, what you got going on this week, mate?
We got Late Night Mayhem this Tuesday. You know how I do. That's more of a topic channel where we'd go over some of the topics that are going on right now and stuff like that. Then I got 3 videos coming out almost every single day, except for weekends. I usually put out 1 or 2. We got not Beelzebub. We got Get Ranked tomorrow night. And last but not least, Ball Busters this Friday, where we're having Dre come on for our special Christmas episode, guys. It's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be cool, and there might be a name change just for that episode. Just a small name change.
All right, man. We look forward to that. Devil made me do it. What you got going on this week?
Yeah, like Dermy said, we got Get Ranked tomorrow, Christmas movies. Besides the anime ones, we're gonna keep that for a list next year during Christmas. With Selena Redwine, we got No Me Without You, we got TruePop, and we got Dermy Wormy, and yeah.
Man, Bojan just
Hey,
outright torched both Extra Zero and me in one comment.
Listen, Devil. By the way, did you ever notice that in the background looks how dummies would look at his parents turn his bedroom into this? Oh.
To be fair, Tina, this is my home office.
Okay.
True Pop, what you got going on this week?
Well, tomorrow usually I have my TruePop Culture Silent stream, but I'm not entirely sure if he'll be on. I'll be celebrating my birthday, so if I do, I'll probably just do it myself. Also, very important, I recently launched a Godzilla -1. Now perfectly straight. Sorry about that. Sorry to break your hearts, guys. But I recently launched a Godzilla -1 review on my channel. Please do check it out. It was kind of a pain to edit. You know, I didn't do it without a script. Script would have helped a lot, but it would have slowed the video down more. I just wanted to get it out as fast there as possible. So yeah, it's some of my general thoughts on the Godzilla movie. Well put together-ish. So yeah, I dropped a link to it. Did you drop it in the chat? Yeah. Yeah, so check it out. And yeah, I'll be on Devil's stream ranking Christmas movies. And I recently watched Family Man with Nick Cage, and that was a great movie. And I just casually tweeted about it, and the writer of the freaking movie liked to tweet.
That's really awesome, man.
Yeah, me
I was
and
just
Kent
like,
are really
yeah,
are really upset about that, him being straight comment. I'm sorry.
Extra Zero, what you got coming up this week?
Yeah, so this week I've got on Thursday Figure Action. We go live every Thursday at 9 Eastern. This will be a regular show, but I'm excited for the following week's show because we're going to do our top 10 of the year. So the top 10 figures. Next week's show is just going to be kind of a normal one, but I always love our top 10s because it gives me an excuse to go through all the stuff I picked up throughout the year and reflect on what I liked, and it's always fun to go through those figures. And then really I don't have too much going on. As I said, I'm getting a new PC tomorrow, so I probably will get pretty invigorated to put out some extra content, some video memes. So I'm really looking forward to that. So stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter. I think I'm at 400 followers right now, which is awesome.
Man, that's awesome.
So let me double check and see how many I have. But I did that. I'm 397, so I need 3 more followers to hit 400. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're not following me on Twitter, give me a follow. I post memes all the time. I'm hoping to be back to doing side scrollers memes during the week, but it just depends on my work schedule and whether or not I get called into meetings through lunch. I normally would watch and meme them through lunch, but that hasn't been happening. But yeah, other than that, I'll be back here. I'll be off the meme stream next week. My wife and I are celebrating our engagement anniversary.
Yes.
Thank you. So we're going to Longwood Gardens to look at the Christmas stuff with my in-laws. But I'll be back the following week. We will have Wookie Be Bad next week. So I'm definitely going to miss that show because I was talking to that dude. But I'll see you all on the show on the 30th.
Absolutely, man. And as for myself, I'm not going to be doing too much this week except for learning. As you all know, I'm very, very good at CapCut, but DaVinci is a kryptonite of mine. Same thing with Adobe. So I'm going to be going headfirst into learning all those So not only will I be an expert on CapCut, I will also be an expert on those. I have a lot of courses to go to for it. So I'm very, very excited to learn this, just because I like learning new things, and I want to help out the community by putting out more educational content. So go follow my Twitter. Go follow the Legion of Memers Twitter. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you like the show. We do it every week, Saturday, same time, same place. So you know where to be. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. And I hope the information in this particular stream is going to be useful for you as a content creator, as a viewer, and just anybody who was interested. I appreciate you all being here today. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Yeah.